Alright, so let's talk about Octopath Traveler 2. This is an HD 2D JRPG that is the sequel to the 2018 release going by the same name. With a similar game loop and battle system, did they improve on the game overall, or should you just skip this one? Basically, is it worth your time and money? I'll be giving you an overview of the story, the gameplay, then we'll come right back here for my final thoughts on who I think should be picking up Octopath Traveler 2. Let's get started. The stories and setting take place on Solistia, two continents separated into West and East territories surrounded by the sea. It's very fantasy based, with monsters and magic being the normal here. It's a bustling era wherein large vessels navigate busy sea routes and the power of steam gives birth to new technologies. You play as 8 different characters with their own class and origin. At the beginning of the game, you pick from any of these characters to start your adventure. You'll be completing their chapter 1 journeys, whether it be for revenge or wanderlust. Each character's motivations eventually lead them to exploring the world and traveling to other areas. You're then free to explore the continent and continue gathering other party members, or moving on to chapter 2 for your chosen characters. Moving on to gameplay, you're going to be doing chapters. Here you have 8 characters and you can recruit them in any order that you want. The progression is pretty open-ended. You can grab every single characters, do their chapter 1s, or choose your selected ones, then go to chapter 2, etc. If you look at the map, it shows you the suggested chapters levels you need to be on. Next up is exploration. As mentioned, the map is very open. You can travel to most places, and when you hover over them or move on to the map, you can see they are set levels, so you've got to be kind of careful depending on where you go. You know, you might run into enemies that are just way too tough at that time. There's also many towns in the game. Each of them have their own different shops for consumables, weapons, defense, and also side quests. You can find lots of NPCs and you can help them in many different ways. Each character has 2 actions for day and night. So basically, if you are a thief, you can steal in the morning. If you're at night, you can knock them out, etc. Each character can solve many different quests in different ways. The maps themselves, where you're walking all over the place, you got treasures, monsters, and you can find lots of points of interest, special locations that give you even more side quests, or even really cool things like unlocking permanent side jobs. Battles here in Octopath Traveler 2 is the same as the first. It is turn-based. You can have up to 4 characters and fight up to 1 to many different enemies at a time. You got your basic JRPG stats like mana, HP, strength, defense, speed, etc. The different actions you can take: attack, defend, item, and different skills. Then you got your special actions. You can boost, which basically means every single time you attack or defend, do a basic action, you charge up these things called BP, and then you can use the BP to expend on any turn that you want up to 3 times to increase the amount of attacks you can do or power up certain skills. There was also a new mechanic called the latent talent here. Basically, it acts like your rage bar. Whenever you take damage or an enemy hits you, it goes up, and when it hits 100%, you activate it. Depending on the character you got, it can help you heal, attack, or, just activate lots and lots of different abilities. Some other special mechanics is the breaking system. Every character that you fight are weak to something at the very beginning. They're all different question marks, but once you attack with different weapons, daggers, swords, fire, water, it'll show, and then it'll break a shield. Once the shield hits 0, they are stunned for that turn and the upcoming turn, leaving you to deal massive damage to them. And yeah, that's pretty much Octopath Traveler 2 in a nutshell. There's a bit more involved for sure in terms of story and mechanics, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview now for my final thoughts. What did I like, the good and the bad? Okay, so I did play the first one. Now here's the thing with it, I didn't finish the first one. On 2 separate occasions, I tried my hardest to get through it 2 different times. The first time was 8 hours, the second time was around 12 hours, and the reason I didn't finish it was it just was very disappointing. For me personally, I think the first one just did not have enough depth to keep me engaged. I felt like it was just a little too simple in general. You know, it had very basic JRPG combat and progression, and it just relied heavily on its musics and graphics. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I Perhaps, maybe it's my fault, I just expected more with this being a Square Enix game and all. The gimmicks in the first game were, oh wow, you got 8 characters, get them in any order that you want. But it really just got stale because it felt like you're doing the same thing just literally 8 times, and then, you know, chapter 1 8 times, going over here, chapter 2 8 times, chapter 3 8 times, and it just got really repetitive. Now, talking about this sequel, I'm not gonna lie, it is the same sort of game loop I just mentioned, but it is really surprising how if you just improve the overall experience around it, you know, they add just a bit more mechanics, it really elevates the experience and wanted me to keep going, to keep playing. Just to give you some examples of what they did, it's not like groundbreaking, but just small added layers to the complexity really changes things. Every character now has 2 path actions instead of the first one, oh, you're a thief, you can steal from people, boring. In this one, no, you can steal or knock people unconscious. If you're a priest, you can have people follow you, or you can kind of coerce them to break and have a mind battle. You know, every character has 2 different things, which essentially is doubled, and it makes it so you can do a lot more quests in different ways. The day and night system is a nice welcome change here. Side quests are available in the morning or nights. If you fight monsters in the morning, a little bit easier. You fight them at night, a little bit tougher. Basically, you have to go to every single map, and if you want to complete things, find secrets, etc., you have to go through it during the day and then switch it off as a, you know, just at the press of a button and go through it at night. It kind of improves the areas because there's more depth to it and just extends the amount of time you will be dealing in these areas. Now, talking about side classes, in the beginning of the game, in the first one, you unlock these 8 characters, then you mix and match them, but that's it. You only have those 8 classes until you get really farther in the game, then you unlock a couple of new side classes to get. Here in this first one, if you do a little, in the second one, if you do a little bit of exploring, you're gonna unlock side quests really quick, fast, and oh my god, thank god they did it this way, because, you know, having the 8s, it's a little boring, but having these side ones, you can really sort of customize each character, make them more unique, and it really just changes it up because you don't know what to expect. You don't know which class is going to pop up next. Rather, if you just get every single 8 character, they all have the same skills, and then you mix it with another one, they have the same skills. It's a little basic, but having these side classes early is very, very good. Moving on to the combat, right? The boost break system was pretty good in the first one. It returns here, but it gets even better with a couple of more extra mechanics, such as the passives. Every character is more unique, where they all have different passive skills. If you play at night, sometimes they activate a status effect on a character automatically, or they boost your stats up. So it really is more of, oh, this character, even though I turn them into a thief, even though I turn them into a warrior, they still have these unique mechanics that makes you want to really mix and match even better. Included onto that is their latent abilities. Just like the skills, the latent ability is everyone's sort of ultimate rage bar. So, oh, this character, when the latent ability goes off, they take 2 turns in a row. Really good for certain classes, but you can customize like crazy. I mentioned the overall presentation, and while the first one did look and sound good, the second one, I don't know. Maybe it's like, because it was like 5 or so years ago, but I feel like they learned from everything they did in that first one. They even have the mobile game, and then they sort of elevated the graphics, especially the particles and lighting. It just looks really, really good, and it helps that I'm also playing on PC. Oh yeah, the first game came out only on Switch, and then about a year or so later it came out on everything else as a port. I'm not sure how the development of this one went, but they did Switch, PlayStation, and PC all simultaneous release. This is a very, very good decision, as I played the PC version, and it is currently, as I'm looking here, it is overwhelmingly positive reviews, and I do have to agree with these guys. Now, to sum up, this is a direct improvement, I think, in all aspects from Octopath Traveler 1. It is a must-buy if you played the first one and loved it, or even if you played it like me and you only got like a dozen or so hours and you just stopped because it got repetitive. This one is much better in all regards. Pick it up if you are a JRPG nut, but just know that, hey, it you know, it can't go away from all the different tropes. You know, the story sometimes is a little basic, a little predictable. It gets repetitive with all the grinding, but that's just the nature of JRPGs. You're killing things, you're leveling up, you're getting money, you're getting loot, you're repeating it, you're going through the same game loops. And of course, there is a lot of dialogue, but it does help that it's all very well voice acted. You can do English and Japanese voices. So yeah, it's an easy recommendation. Pick it up. Just pick it up if you like JRPGs. You can't go wrong. Square Enix has done it again. Very awesome. So if you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, etc. And please subscribe to this channel and my Let's Play channel called MabiVsGames 2, where I'm uploading my full playthrough. Link in the description if you want to go watch that. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think of Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.